Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. How are you doing? It is currently 9:30 at night. I've, as literally as can be, kind of practically come in from work, made myself a cup of peppermint tea, plopped myself in front of the camera to film a video for you guys because I've really been wanting to film a video for the last couple of days, but all of the video ideas that I've had, that I've been wanting to make into videos aren't ready to film yet because, to be honest, most of my time and my energy has been going into getting back on the horse and on the acting train for 2025 and, you know, like going to events, catching up with friends, doing workshops, things like that, sorting out new headshots, sorting out a vocal reel, all of that kind of stuff. So I haven't really had a lot of time to dedicate to developing the video ideas I have into ideas that are ready for the camera, so to speak. So I just wanted to do something really chill and really light, especially because everything right now, correct me if I'm wrong, but everything right now feels so heavy. So I just wanted to do something light and fun with you guys. And so I thought, seeing as I've recently hit 500 subscribers, we could do kind of a little chill, fun celebration type thing by doing some tags, which no one does anymore, but I don't care. I just wanted to have, again, something fun, something light. Before I do that though, I do want to say thank you so much to everyone who has subscribed, whether you're new or you've been here for a while. It's taken a while, but yeah, honestly, thank you so much for subscribing and coming over and hanging out in my tiny minuscule corner of the internet. I hope that you found value in watching my videos, and yeah, thanks for being here. So yeah, I thought we could celebrate by kind of like my 200 subs little celebration, just doing a tag. I've already tried to film this twice this morning, but it ended up feeling a bit rushed. And also the first tag I just found the questions so dull. It was a really long tag, but so many of the questions just felt really repetitive, and I was like, nah, that ain't it, sis. So I found a couple of others which I really liked. So we're gonna do a little bit of a mashup. The first tag that I found is the theatre tag, slightly different from the musical theatre tag. And also some of these questions seem more aimed at people who do perform rather than people who are just fans of theatre. So I think that might be nice for you guys to hear about. And then I also found another tag called the TMI tag. I'll link the two blog posts that I got the tags from down below if you want to check them out yourself. But yeah, I thought we could go through these questions. I've ended up with 42 questions in total, which the nerd in me loves. So yeah, we're just gonna answer some questions on this Monday evening whilst I drink some tea, and we're just gonna chat. Hi friends, just jumping in to say that if you haven't guessed already from the title and thumbnail, this video is actually going to be in two parts because I had a lot to say. So this first part is going to be just the theatre tag, and then part two, which I'll link down below and in a card when it's ready, will be the TMI tag. So 2 videos for the price of 1. Enjoy. So we're starting off with the theatre tag questions. So question 1. When did you start getting into theatre? Well, it all started a long time ago. I mean, describe what you mean by getting into theatre. I don't know how it is in other parts of the world, but like in the UK, in schools, you have like the school nativity every year. Even since year R. In year R, we did Pinocchio and I was a cat going around a dustbin. I wouldn't say that was the start. But since year 1, so that would have been, year R is 4 to 5, year 1 is 5 to 6, and it would have been Christmas. So from age 5, I started singing solos in the school nativity. Like, I wasn't in the nativity play, I was in the choir singing the solo of the hymn or whatever. So in terms of singing, I guess since then, and then I started having lessons when I was 9. I also started dance class, so ballet and tap, when I was 6, and in dance class we didn't really have recitals. We had our exams, like our board exams, but every 3 years the dance school would have a show and everyone would be in the show. So I don't think it's the same idea as like recitals. I know you have that a lot in the States, but we just like have our dance school show. That was a big part of my life. And then when we went to secondary school, we had the school musical. So like, I feel like I've always been in performing arts in some way. Like, I've sung since I was a kid, like a little kid, danced for almost just as long, and then obviously when I went to secondary school and you could audition for the school show, I auditioned for the school show. So yeah, like forever. I guess in terms of seeing theatre, I think the first show I can remember seeing was probably Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. My mum's work where my mum used to work, used to do like theatre trips, so we went to see Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. That was rambly. I hope that answered the question. How many shows have you been in? Oh gosh, right. Let's start with professional shows and then work back. So professional shows, I might as well name them. So Wonderland, Sorry Prime Minister, Measure for Measure. Oh my gosh, I'm not gonna get all of them. What was before Measure for Measure? I'm gonna have to do them out of order. Romeo and Juliet, Nutcracker, Lost Spells, that was before Measure for Measure, or around Measure for Measure. Pinocchio was a radio play, let's count it. Into the Woods, How to Succeed in Business, The Rally, Lady of Jazz, Separate Ways, Unquiet Grave. There's definitely more. There's definitely some I'm missing. Baby Show. Let's go with 14 professional shows because I can't remember the rest. The Panto I did. Panto. Robinson Crusoe. Also, the one with all of the LX tape with Mac the Knife. Da, 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 da. But we did original songs and it was a bit weird. What is it called? Threepenny Opera. Let's say 16 professional shows. If I've missed some and I remember, I'll just chuck them out. And then, okay, so then at university, oh wait, no, we've got the RAM shows as well. So RAM would have been Carousel, I'm not gonna count Showcase because it's not a full show, and the one with the crazy people, Trojan Women. Trojan Women. Oh my gosh, back to professional, 2 different versions of the one with Christmas and Ghosts, Christmas Carol, and also a Comedy of Errors. And then, where did I go before RAM? Southampton Uni. The one where the guy gets lynched. Oh my God. Parade. Jesus Christ. I wasn't actually in anything in my 3rd year. That was my recital. Children of Eden. I'm gonna say the 3 24-hour shows because I'm not sure if I can say what they were. I didn't plan them. So, Wicked, Aladdin, and Jesus Christ Superstar, Jekyll and Hyde, Footloose. Oh, and then The Pillow Man. Oh, and Last 5 Years. All right, so now we're getting to school. So school shows: Little Women, The Winter's Tale. Oh my God, Year 11. Year 11. I don't know how entertaining this is gonna be. Year 11, what was Year 11? Was that The Secret Garden? Let's say it's The Secret Garden. Girlfriends was Year 9. No, Girlfriends was Year 10. The one with tap dancing, Broadway rhythm is Singing in the Rain was Year 9. Into the Woods again was Year 8, and then Guys and Dolls was Year 7. So we're on 38. Oh, but then there was like actual shows, like when I did drama and theatre studies. So what were they? But we did do The Taming of the Shrew for Shakespeare for Schools Festival. Hard to Swallow for GCSE. Let's go with that. So we're on 40. 40 shows that have titles. No, 41. There was that Broken Arrow one, the one that was about McCarthyism. Bloody hell, what is it called again? What is it called? Oh my God. The Crucible. The Crucible. Yeah, so 41. Let's go with 41.
Let's not say 41, because as well as a show that you remember later on in this video, stay tuned for that, you also missed off The Dresser and Josephine. And I've just remembered 2 more. Dancing Alone Every Night, and I'm pretty sure I did do the Beggars Opera, no, not the Beggars Opera, the Threepenny Opera at school as well. So I'm now on 45. I've been in a lot of shows, everyone. Can you tell? Yeesh.
That is a lot of shows. Oh my goodness. I've never counted them before. That's too much. Oh my goodness. Favorite role you've ever played? I think maybe Honey Grey. Honey Grey was fun, but also I really enjoyed playing Juliet actually at school. You know how you study Shakespeare in school, at least in England you do. I hated Romeo and Juliet because I was like, this is stupid. Why doesn't she just run away with him? Like do a not Much Ado About Nothing. Do a Midsummer Night's Dream, and why don't they just like run away? Why are they doing all this getting married in secret bullshit? But actually playing Juliet was so much fun, and she's got so much more agency than I ever gave her credit for as a teenager. A tip you always give to new theatre kids. I don't tend to give like tips in terms of like, just be like, kid, you know, let me tell you how it is, you know. I'm a firm believer in only giving advice when it's asked, or if you feel advice needs to be given, at least asking. I don't know where I was looking. I was looking for my tea. I think if I were to give advice to new theatre kids, and by new theatre kids, I'm gonna read that as people who are new to the industry, I'd say be kind and know your worth. Be kind to everyone. People backstage, front of house, co-stars, understudies, if you're in the position where you have an understudy, you know, be kind to everyone, because you don't know where they're going to be next. And also, even without that, with the whole kind of self-interested thing, like, everyone is deserving of kindness and respect. And if you don't treat people with kindness and respect, then that just makes you an asshole, and no one wants to work with assholes. As an addendum to that, I think a lot of people, not just, this is like in general, not just in theatre, but like you can judge a lot about a person by the way they treat people that they think are beneath them in some way. Like, you know, how people treat people in the service industry and stuff like that. And I think it's kind of a similar thing. If you're going to treat your understudy like dirt, that says a lot about you, and I think people notice that. And you have to be like not only so talented, but also such a commodity in terms of fame and notoriety for people to overlook that. And if you're new, you probably don't have that, I'm guessing. So yeah. And then with Know Your Worth, I feel like we're so conditioned to just be like, you said jump, how high? I think the idea of scarcity is also so ingrained in our industry. So I think really knowing what you're worth, because that way, when you know what you're worth, you're gonna go in with confidence, and also you're not gonna put up with shit that you really shouldn't put up with. So yeah, I think that would be my advice or tips for new theatre kids if you're wanting to be professional. If you're just like a theatre kid, like having fun doing amateur stuff, be kind to everyone still applies. Who is your biggest inspiration in theatre? This is one of the things that I'm reworking on in like getting back into the industry, is rekindling my inspiration and who I'm looking up to now in this era of my life and my career. So I don't, at the moment, I'm not sure I have an answer to that question. Things that I find inspiring in general, artistry and heart, I think. So for example, this is not a person, this is a show, but for my birthday, Josh took me to see Benjamin Button, and it was such a beautiful piece of theatre. You could really tell that so much love and heart went into that story, and also it was a story that really tapped into something so human. Don't see Benjamin Button, don't see it on your birthday. It's just a bit like, and I've just spilled tea all over everything. At least it's not black tea. But yeah, it hits different when you've just had a birthday. I'm not sure I would recommend, but the show itself, if you're in the UK and can get down to London to see it, is beautiful. And it was just it was everything that I love about theatre. So like that. There wasn't one particular person involved in that I'd say is my inspiration. I think my issue is I see people as so people-y. I struggle to I don't know, I struggle to put people on pedestals like that, because I'm just like, yeah, but there's gonna be something bad. I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna stop myself rambling, because you know we don't have all night. TBC on who is my biggest inspiration in theatre. Biggest theatre pet peeves, gimmicks, I think. At the moment, I think it's gimmicks and style over substance. I think those are my biggest theatre pet peeves. What is your, oh no, I'm not there yet, sorry. Biggest strength, biggest weakness. I think my biggest strength is my ability to learn quickly. And I really hope my brain stays that way. But yeah, I've always been really good at learning things and learning things quickly. I also, kind of adjacent to that, my ability to be able to read music for like musical theatre stuff definitely can come in clutch because it helps with the rapid learning of things. My biggest weakness, I think, is getting in my own head. Firstly, in the way I tend to gravitate to my process, I can get really in my head and really cerebral, and I've got better at it, don't get me wrong, but like, you know, at some point you've got to just try it out loud and see, right? But then I think also another part of that is my self-esteem as an actor, and, you know, just like I get in my own way with kind of in my head, I think. So yeah. Now we're on What's Your Dream Role, question 8, and it's Sarah from Ragtime. If you've been round here for the last 10 plus years, you probably already know that. Plays or musicals? Both. It depends on the story that you're telling and whether the way you want to tell that story in terms of like tone and things fits the form. I think so many people are like, oh, I hate musicals, but like there's lots of different genres of musical, and like musicals can do so many things. It's just the form. It's just the form in which the story is being told theatrically. There are some things where I'd be like, you know what, you're gonna struggle. You're gonna struggle making that work as a musical and it not being in poor taste. And there's also some things where I think if you were to just do it as like a straight dramatic play, maybe it would be really dull, you know? That's not to say all plays are straight. Like, you can have plays that are just as fantastical and spectacular as musicals. Doing something as a straight play has its pros and cons. Doing something as a musical has its pros and cons, depending on the story and the subject matter, right? So like, yeah, both. As long as it's good. As long as it's good and it makes me think, or it makes me feel, or it, you know, it does something to me that I enjoy, like, I don't mind. Favorite improv game? I haven't done a lot of improv games. I do like, I mean, I love Whose Line Is It Anyway? I think Questions Only, I've never played it myself, but I would love to play Questions Only. I think that's just because of that episode with Whoopi Goldberg. I'll link it in the description. It is a masterpiece. She like wipes the floor with everybody. It's great. What's your favorite show? Okay, right. Favorite show that's in the West End right now is a toss-up between Benjamin Button and Operation Mincemeat. Of the two things that are in the West End right now, I think those are a toss-up between my two favourites. Favourite musical of all time that I've ever seen a professional production of, that's gonna be a toss-up between Once and Come From Away, both of which I saw 3 times, paid to see 3 times. Come From Away I technically saw more times because I did cover front of house there on some occasions, and then I was like, yes, I will sit in, thank you. Favorite musical in terms of like music to sing, or like what I would love to be in, Ragtime, but also anything Sondheim. I think that wise, I think the Sondheim show I'd go for would probably be Sunday. I think the music of Sunday is so beautiful and the story is so beautiful. Yes, it's flawed because it was the whole like 2 acts thing. It's kind of a similar issue that Into the Woods has. Oh, but then Into the Woods though. Okay, favorite show that's a Sondheim, probably a toss up between Into the Woods and Sunday. Yeah, but also The Sound of Music is a beautiful, I've been getting back into The Sound of Music, and like the music in that, a lot of it is really beautiful as well, and so fun and nostalgic. I don't have an answer. There are so many shows that I love for so many different reasons and in different ways. Like taking Benjamin Button, for example, I loved seeing Benjamin Button. I would go and see it again, but that's not a show I love because I could be in it, because it's an actor-musician show and I'm not. I guess if I played the main female lead, she plays piano. So yeah, like I actually physically can't be in that show. So it's like, I don't know if anyone else gets this, but you have a different relationship to between shows that you love as an audience member and shows that you love as an artist, that you could be in those shows. You know, it's just different. That was really long. I'm so sorry. Most awkward onstage moment, right? So it didn't feel awkward in the moment, but I think it's the most awkward I felt as opposed to mortified, just because it was I managed it well, but it was awkward. It's not funny awkward, but it was kind of funny. I was in this play called The Rally, and the whole premise of the play was there were these 3 girls, one of them has been found murdered, and the 2 friends were the last people to see her alive, and they're being interrogated by the detective. And so the scenes would like flip between the interrogation room where my character was being interrogated, the interrogation room where the other character was being interrogated, and then flashing back to that last night when they were all together. Because of the nature of the play, in the interrogation scenes, it was a lot of detective asking questions, and then my lines or the lines of the other girl and the girl's mum, who was also in the interrogation room. All of those lines were reactions to the questions the detective was asking. The guy who played the detective didn't learn his lines. He did. No, he didn't. I'm just gonna say it as it is. Like he didn't learn his lines, and all of his lines were cues. They were cues to changes of scenes. They were cues to other things, and so because I'm good at learning things, I knew what was meant to happen. So I'd find myself on stage just constantly listening and being like, whenever he'd dry, if it was a scene that I was in, like me trying to fix it or trying to think of ways, like on stage in front of an audience, to try and fix it to get us to the next thing. I remember specifically there was this one point, my character, like he was meant to ask me a question and then my character says something. I can't remember the lines now, this was years ago. And then my line would then cue one of the flashbacks, and I knew he wasn't gonna ask me the question that he had to ask me. So I literally had to be like, and I bet you're wondering blah, blah, blah. Well, blah, 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 to do the cue. And it was like, I was meant to be 16, right? So yeah, 16-year-olds might say stupid things, but like, I was still like, she's deliberately incriminating herself. My character didn't do it, by the way, but like my character was kind of street smart where like there's no way that she would volunteer that information without being asked outright. Like she's not that dumb. So it was just like, yeah, this is completely out of character and ridiculous, but this is the only way we're gonna get to the next scene. So I guess my character's being a dumbass for a bit. It was just so, it was a lot, and it just meant I couldn't enjoy performing it because it was literally just like, well, I'm constantly just having to listen to be like, is something gonna fuck up and am I gonna have to try and fix it, and how do you fix it? It's different when stuff goes wrong on stage and then you're kind of like, oh man, we have to fix it. Like when you know that something's gonna go wrong and you're gonna have to fix it, it takes the fun out of those moments, you know, because those moments are fun after the fact. Like in the moment it's like, ah shit, but like, you know, you can have a giggle, but you can't have a giggle when you're like, yeah, well, if you'd learnt your lines, you know, it's not that you dried because of something random, like you haven't learnt it. Best offstage moment, I don't really know. I don't know. Wait, no, best offstage moment was it wasn't like an after show party, but on tour. I won't say the show. On tour, and we one of the people in the company, their digs, they had a whole house to themselves, so they were like, I'm gonna host a party that's, you know, so we can all like socialize. And in that party, being able to put this one member of the company who was not a nice person in their place, completely by accident. I happened to say something, like, because we were all like drinking and eating pizza and stuff, and like I was a bit tipsy, and people were making jokes about writing shows and stuff, and me and the woman I was understudying were like saying some stuff, and this person who was a really horrible person kept on piping in, and I said something like, oh, you can write the show about this. I can't even remember what it was, but you know when you say something in jest and then you realize that it's been taken like really badly because what you've said is actually harsh. And it was just like, there was like a beat where everyone was like, oh, and then she went on the defensive, and then we had to school her for ages about, you know, racism. But it was just, it was so good. I felt so naughty doing it as well because I hate conflict. But by that point I was like, yeah, fuck that bitch. I think that's my best offstage moment. Yeah. She was not a nice person at all. She brought the vibe down on that show so much. Anyway, most challenging role to play. This is going on forever. Oh my goodness, sorry guys. Most challenging role to play, I think it's the Provost in Measure for Measure. I found that character really difficult because it's so different to what I usually get cast as. It completely went against like my natural kind of vibe and aura as an actor, but also the part is very small. It's not like very small, but like, it's not like if you get cast as like a character but they're the lead, so you've got a lot of material to work with to like get to like feel the vibe and figure out who the character is. There's like just enough that you know that you can't just throw it away or just do something and like it doesn't matter, so you can kind of have fun with it. You have to get it right. And the Provost is a very pivotal character in carrying a lot of weight, especially in our version. But like you don't have a lot to go on, so the character felt really uncomfy, and it was a real challenge. Like I think I got there in the end, but yeah, I found that really challenging. Also there was a lot going on at that time. And then number 15, so this is the last question for the specifically theatre tag. What are you doing? No. Where am I? Yes, here we are. What would you do if theatre didn't exist? Okay, let's put it this way. If theatre stopped existing, I mean, we'd just make our own version of it. I'd like start some guerrilla company, like doing theatre in parks and being like, oh, edgy. But like, but screen was still a thing. I would do that. If it was like a universe where theatre never existed, so it was never an option, probably singing or music would probably be the thing. If performing arts wasn't a thing, probably writing, or I mean, I don't know if I would have got there because I don't know if I would have gone through all the stuff in my life that would make me think to do this, but like maybe some kind of like like becoming a psychologist or a psychiatrist maybe. I'm really interested in that, and I think I'd be doing something that helped people essentially. Yeah, I think probably that. So that was part 1 of this 2-part subscriber celebration where I answer questions from the internet. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider liking and subscribing. If you haven't already, we'd love to have you. Stay tuned for both part 2 of this video and more videos from a UK perspective. What is my outro? More theatre content from a UK perspective. That's the one. That's what I do. That's why you're here. Yeah, I'll see you all in the next video. Bye, friends!